everything you have read online that could be a spoiler in regards to The Flash and what happens in the film might not matter by the time the film comes out in the actual theaters worldwide. Because the director Andy Muschietti revealed the screening that took place at CinemaCon, including the screenings that were done with audiences and studio execs recently, is not in fact the finished version, and there's a lot of things missing. So this comes at us directly from Andy Muschietti, who was talking about the screening at CinemaCon, and when asked about the ending of the film, a couple scenes that weren't done, some shoddy CG, and all that, he addressed it by saying, guys, it's not the final cut of the film. There's still work to be done. We're gonna be finishing this film a couple weeks prior to the release, which again is a standard practice these days because films are now mostly digital. They don't make film reels anymore. So you can just hit the upload button and literally patch a film. We saw this with a couple MCU films recently. So with that in mind, him saying that the ending of what happens in the CinemaCon screening is not set in stone, there's still changes coming, that there's Easter eggs that weren't shown, that aren't complete, that there's potential cameos and things, I think this honestly is a good way to handle it. If you show the core of the film, and it gets a huge response, but you remove a couple things because you want to keep some surprises or they're not done or locked in yet, I think that's a good way to approach it, because then all the spoilers aren't out there. And we've seen Marvel Studios, for example, before not show a specific post-credit scene or a mid-credit scene because they don't want it leaking. Or even having scenes that are like 30 seconds not shown in specific screenings because they could implicate something bigger that could hit the net and provide a spoiler. And I honestly like this approach. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. They gotta keep some secrets. Make no mistake about that. They can't just go out there and go, let's reveal everything. And this film has been in the bag for so long, and they've been sort of refining it, especially with cancellations of like Batgirl, which she was supposed to appear at the end of Flash. You're not gonna have that in there. So it makes sense that this is the new route. So let's see what the final cut is like, and then once we get reports of what was shown in previous screenings, we'll compare and contrast and see what version ultimately might have been better. But I think the theatrical one is probably going to end up winning because it's the final version.